of the day is the 5 layers of defense. Defense offers up several menus. One of the main keys of defense is hands. Defending with your hands takes a serious concentration and understanding on how to stop a fighter from the outside. And that's usually defending with your hands. So whenever you're doing this.
All right. As promised, I told you today that we would get into the 5 layers of defense. Now, with that being said, you want to take this with you as a fighter, trainer, especially if you're coming from the outside of the sport of boxing. You see, one thing that happened to me is I came into the game and I was so excited about knowing techniques and learning all the skills that I didn't realize that there are levels and there were also layers. So this right here is the 5 layers of defense. And I brought my techniques and all of the skills that I learned here for coaches who've been in the sport. And some of you are winning pretty good. You know, I know a lot of you that are following the page and you have a lot of success and you're experiencing it. I am here to tell you so that that continues on and you don't hit a bump in the road. What my job is to do is tell you the experiences that I went through where my head was in that exact same place. We were invincible. We were invincible, excuse my French, and nothing could stop us. And you could not see anything going wrong. And I knew that this just felt so good. And all the years that I put in learning beforehand would be the reason why I was able to experience this kind of success. But lo and behold, although I had had my first decade and a half in the game, there had been people who had been in the game 5 decades, 6 decades. And so, but with my, confidence and or what we would call today, as I look down on it, arrogance, to think that you could possibly contain more knowledge in your head than someone who's been in the game for 5 decades. That's absolute asinine. The amount of experiences that you'll go through in boxing will be the reason, and it'll definitely tip the precipice of how far you will go and how far your athlete feels like you can take them. There's always this question out here. Does a fighter know when it's really the end of the road for that trainer? Yeah, they know. They just haven't found the right person to replace him. So if you look at someone like Anthony Joshua, who's a great talent, physically, defined in a way that Greek goddess like, skill, decent skills, and getting better because he wants to. And if you want to and you put in the work, you can get better. You have to realize in order to get better at boxing, you have to box. You can't lift and train and condition and all of that stuff. Go to Buddha priest, all of that stuff it comes secondary. If you want to know how to fly a plane good, you fly planes. You don't sit on YouTube trying to figure out how to fly planes. So with that being said, here's what I experienced. Once I got the opportunity to get in there, I started going up in there and working against people who had been in the game much longer. And eventually, it's not that they had more skill. They just understood where you were not yet. And so they added wrinkles that you had not seen. And they fought in different ways, not using the skills that you were used to. They were using craft, dirty boxing tactics, all of these different kind of things that throw off your normal boxing game, and it stops being about skill for skill and it starts being about trickery. It starts to be about throwing punches away on purpose. It's catching you in places that you didn't know were coming because you're so busy worrying about the hip shots and things that you typically would complain to the ref about, which really throw your mind and focus off. And next thing you know, your fighter's got a swollen eye, bleeding. Everything's going wrong. And now you're in a place that you've never been before. Mike Tyson Holyfield won. Watch it. He was in a place that he had never been before. No one had ever pushed Mike Tyson back. And that's what you get whenever you're fighting at the higher levels. You start to get introduced to different things. So today I'm going to introduce to you the 5 layers of defense. Now that we only had time to show half because I only gave myself 10 minutes to share this video with you guys, but I told you yesterday that you would get a chance to see it. Now, there's so many different things that you'll learn from this video. The beautiful part is I can't play it all now, but all you have to do is type the word defense to watch it for free. And you can see this entire video if that's in your mindset to get to a place that you want to get better at boxing, have a different level of comprehension, and learn from someone who's in a lineage of over 130 years, then my advice is to stay tuned as I pop this in. And remember this: confidence comes from the ability to know that no one can hurt you because you've understood and mastered the mastery of defense. And there are only 3 fighters in boxing history that mastered the game in its entirety. There are a lot of people who have greatness as well, who fall in that category, but they're on a different mountain. And when you watch the next stream, what we'll do is break down those things, those assets that those fighters had. And when you know what they had, you'll understand how to look at them different. So realize this: when I mention Willie Pep, you're talking about a man who's fought over 200 times as a professional and could hardly be touched. There's something that he knew that you do not know. And these are the things that I mean. He deserves to be on that Mount Olympus. Okay. So do the other 2, because they've proven exactly the same kind of thing. So right now, with no further ado, here is the 5 layers of defense.
Just to keep your opponent in front of you, hands up, being able to block, catch, and parry. So what we're going to do today is go over this with the guys. One at a time, they're going to show how they can defend with their hands, and then we'll cover the other 4 lessons. Let's go. Okay, so what happens is, if you got a fighter on the outside, and he's shooting the hands, just say, for instance, he has the length on you, and your objective is to shut him down, take his offense away from him, so you know immediately to defend him with his hands. Early rounds, this is a key time to do it. So if he's doing it, shooting a jab, catch, parry, catch. This is how you take the initiative to defend with your hands. The next method of defense is defending with your arms and elbows. That's when you're on the inside. You're on the mid-range, the guy's throwing body shots, defend with your arms and elbows. Bam, boom, pop, hit, boom, boom. And you tie up. These are methods of defending with your arms and your elbows. Remember, whenever you got a fighter, you must know immediately that gear must kick in. What type of defense should you exploit with this guy whenever he's coming with you? Especially a guy that's longer, faster, or even stronger. You gotta buckle down, and you gotta make that commitment to it, all right? All right, next round, your objective is to defend with the feet. So Pup, I want you to come in. All right, this guy, he's gonna come towards me and I'm gonna show you how to defend him with the feet. Whenever you have a pressure fighter, your objective is to take him and turn him and keep him moving, keep him off balance. Don't allow him to get comfortable. So you make him uneasy by putting that footwork on him. So come towards me. Circle, change the angle. You will start to get more comfortable when you understand how he navigates himself around the ring. So you download and take down his algorithm. So if he's more plotting, slew foot, then you just give him the razzle down, change direction on him, and then he'll have to keep changing his feet. If he's really, really quick, you just want to keep him at bay. Just putting a stiff arm out there on him. So when you're putting a stiff arm out there, you want to make sure that you're not going to the left, because he can counter you over the top. Go right hand, boom. So you don't want to do that. Put the stiff arm. give them that look to the left and that look to the right, and then you walk. But the objective is to understand how easy it is to master your footwork whenever you're doing it. So practice these ollies, hands up, circles. Make sure you get these down. Back pedal. Shifts, dips. Skill. Master the science of the ring, and you'll be in good position. Now I'm going to sit and show you how to utilize the shoulders.
Boom. So right there, you can see the amount of layers that go inside of just going into defense. Now there's a good portion of this thing left. So all you have to do to see the rest of it is just type the word defense. It's on us. We just are pressed for time. And we wanted to make sure that you saw that it's a real thing. As you see, just with feet alone, you see how many different manners that you set traps. Not only do you move, but you're not moving to get away. You're moving to set him up, to knock him out, to hit him and put him on Quiz Street. You're not about running. You're about setting him up, walking him into your punching power. And this is what makes it such a beautiful rendition of boxing. And this is why there's a Mount Olympus, a few guys who done it and knew how to do those kind of things along with hurt you while you were trying to get after them. So our biggest thing is to learn that the 5 layers of defense is something that comes with an entire lesson of mastery. It's not like just blocking. And when you see this, when you watch the whole video, your takeaway is going to be, holy crap. All of this came with just these 5 components. They're layers. And when I say 5 layers, it's not 5 skills, it's layers to each one of those skills. And I'm going to put the blueprint out there for you. You're going to see this whole video. But when you watch the layers are all reside in where we are teaching from. And that is inside of that top trainer place. See, you learn the layers after layers after layers. So for those of you who are not just doing it to play around and you want more than something that's free, that's really good, but informative, but really will put you on the right trajectory, because what I learned over the course of 4 decades is all in that school. And what'll happen is when you go into it, you'll see that there is nothing that you could find out here that will make you clear about what goes on in boxing at the higher levels. Yeah, I wish it was only 5 skills, but it's not. Each one of those skills are layered. That's one of the main reasons people are jumping into the school to learn. And so it's all about how serious you are about your sacrifice. I'm not here for me. I'm here for you. So all I need to know is, what level are you trying to get to? Are you a serious coach, and are you working with real people who compete? Because the onslaught is to prevent that from happening to you, because it happened to me. And I'm telling you, we learned the hard way. One of the guys that we learned against will be coming on the show. He was a 2-time heavyweight champion. And we got the opportunity to get our humble pie against this guy. And I'm telling you, the levels continue to change, even when you don't see it coming, because it's always that one-time bomb out there. So if you're a serious boxer and you're really doing this for real, my suggestion to anyone is to, whether it's mine, make sure you find a complete university that has everything, that you know that they have it all. Maybe it's not Master Boxing's the School of Boxing. Maybe it's somewhere else. But my real suggestion is make sure they got mentorship programming in place. And then make sure that when you're getting in, that you have a place where you can have conversations and have questions answered. When you got all of that, then it's as good as having a head coach right there with you that's done it before. Remember the peers, the peer and the tiers of coaching go from the professor who teaches the teacher, who teaches the coach, who teaches the trainer, who teaches the fighter. And that's how that pyramid goes. The School of Boxing has a professor, moi, 4 decades in. Now we've groomed people who are in positions of teachers, former world champion Otis Griffin, people who are like Andre Durrell, who are very versed, who've walked all the way up that ladder, who've received that medal, who've raised the title, who fought at the highest level, who has boxing lineage from a place that there's been multiple world champions, including Clarissa Shields, Chris Bird himself, and just a host of just greatness. So you're going to have great mentorship in place in conversation there. So I can speak to that. And there, then you got coaches. A lot of these guys who are going into national tournaments and learning how to box. If you're trying to learn the box, here's one of my main things is when you're trying to learn how to box, make sure you have a map in front of you. If you got up in the morning, you don't have a plan, you don't have a map, you will not succeed in this game. When you look at people like Keyshawn Davis, Shakur Stevens, they got something in place. That thing is lineage. They got depth. They have all of the stuff. And so you got to have that. You got people like Barry Hunter, Coach Barry Hunter, Coach Kenny Porters, all of these people who went out here and developed and stacked a team. So make sure you got the proper team around you. If you don't, inquire. We're available. Make sure you type the word defense to get the rest of that for just viewing purposes. And I would love to sit down, and if you have any questions, make sure you contact us, because we want to see you guys have a lot of success in boxing, and that's the roadmap to doing it. I learned the hard way. I learned the easy way. I figured it out, and then I passed it down. So from the position of professor, I pass it down to the teachers, and the teachers pass it to the coaches, and the coaches pass it to the trainers, and the trainers pass it to the fighters. Hopefully this was something that gave you some value. There was a takeaway from it that you could benefit from, and understanding what's so great about knowing the 5 layers of defense. And this is one of the things that having a lineage does for you. It teaches you not the skill, but the depth of the skill, the lineage and the origin of the skill, where it comes from, what it's for. Here are the other wrinkles to it. And so that's what you will learn. So if you're in that position, coaches, I'm going to make it easy for you. The word that you can type is school. School for serious coaches. It's not for people who are really not in boxing, because it's a real university where you go and you get all of these videos, all of these clinics and workshops that you can use, and the training guides that you can really have your own training system right in front of you. That's who it's for. So if that's you, you're that person working with world-class fighters, boxers that are definitely, if not already titleless, going to in that direction, then type the word school. Get in that direction. But for all you other guys who are just learning and you want to know what it looks like to learn and what the concept is, make sure you type the word defense, and defense will lead you directly to the rest of that video. Enjoy it. Start it from the beginning and just rock it out, man. That's all I got. I hope you guys got a lot from this. I definitely got a lot just being able to share it with you. So until next time, continue blessings and continue to remember, stay the course, remain focused, never ever forget that if you're not very confident, it's because of what's coming into you. So make sure you're where you can get fed, so the people that are around you believe in you most. And that's how you build your circle. Until next time, I'm out of here. I see you in the winner's circle. Peace out. Coach Bradley, Top Trainer U, the School of Boxing. The 5 layers of defense is how you get to Mount Rushmore.